The last video ended on May 19th, and there was a bit of a teaser that something big happened, so that's what I'm here to talk about today. I did really discuss the fact that I had not been feeling well for several weeks, kind of on and off. I don't know, maybe the video before that or the one before that I talked about being sick. I thought I had this virus, and I kind of still think I had some kind of virus because I would have these symptoms, feeling tired and a little stuffy, and then it would go away, and then it would come back again, but slightly different, with some dizziness and a little nausea. My stomach was upset, and that went away, and fatigue came back with still more kind of gastro distress. The Sunday before, that would be like the 17th, was beta breakers. We stayed in. I'd gone to the exercise room in the morning and done like 20 minutes on the rowing machine, and then I needed to get another 10 minutes of exercise to meet my 30-minute goal. And I wanted to also synchronize the Apple Watch and the iPhone for distances. You had to like take a walk or run outside with the iPhone and the watch, and they get coordinated somehow. I hadn't done that, so I decided to do that in the evening. I walked over to Alamo Square, which is, like a 20-minute walk, and wound up staying out for 20-30 minutes. And coming back, I was really fatigued, felt really, really weird. What I decided to do was get a good night's sleep, and I woke up Monday morning feeling perfectly fine. Went to school, we had a big event, spent all day there, totally fine. Just the normal kind of tiredness after being on my feet for 10 hours. Tuesday, I woke up feeling just beat up again. I was okay during the day, but about halfway through the afternoon, I got really, really tired. And then after I got home, I had this massive thing of diarrhea. Not pleasant, but that's what happened. So Wednesday, I decided to stay home and see if I could get an appointment with my doctor. And I guess I should say an aside here, because I had been wearing the Apple Watch on a regular basis, and I noticed that my heart rate was up and down. And it would be, the normal 80s, 90s, even low 100s when I was exercising. But then the Sunday when I went out after beta breakers, walking around Alamo Square, coming home, the heart rate was really low. It was like in the 40s, which seemed unusual. Then Tuesday, when I wasn't really feeling well, I noticed it seemed a little on the low side too. So when I went into the doctor, I started explaining my symptoms, and she started going over all these possible virus things, and I was going to have me do blood tests and all kinds of things like that. And then I mentioned, it was like I had the watch, and I noticed that my heart rate seemed a little low also, and I showed her the live reading, which at that time was something like 36. And she immediately called for an EKG, and like 5 minutes later, she was sending me off to the hospital. So I wound up in the ER, and this was on Wednesday, and everybody was just kind of amazed that I was walking around and talking with a heart rate in the low 30s and high 20s. They didn't know what was causing this, because the normal kind of factors that would cause a kind of a slow heart rate would be a prior heart attack, which I've never had, obesity, which, I'm a little chunky, but I'm not obese, smoking, which I don't smoke, and some other things, all of which I was negative for. So they were trying to figure out what was going on and couldn't. They transferred me to a cardiac unit at another hospital across town, which was a weird sensation. And again, when I got there, I got hooked up to the monitors. My heart rate at that point was like 28, 26, something like that. And everyone was just like amazed that I was not only awake, but wanted to walk around. It was kind of weird when I was in the hospital, because the nurses were even like, is that him? Like weird that I was walking around. I felt a little tired, but that was my only symptom. I wasn't short of breath. I wasn't passing out or dizzy or anything like that. And one thing led to another. I had a rough night in the hospital that night because I couldn't sleep. You know, it's loud, and they're coming in every few hours to poke you and take blood and all that kind of stuff. And then Thursday morning, they were like, we still don't know what's going on. A test for thyroid disease or whatever, hyperthyroidism, which could be a cause, came back, it was negative. They still didn't know, but my heart rate wasn't responding. The cardiologist decided I had a complete heart block, which is not anything to do with blood vessels, but the electrical system of the heart. The top two chambers and the bottom two chambers coordinate their actions, and there are two bundles of nerves that allow them to communicate. In my case, one side was completely blocked and the other side was like 75% blocked. So they said I had level 3 heart block, which is considered complete heart block, meaning they thought my heart could stop at any moment, which was kind of a sobering thought. And basically I stopped being able to make decisions at that point. Thank God Rich was there and just sort of took over. So when all was said and done, they couldn't explain why this was going on, but they said the solution was to insert a pacemaker. So that's what happened on Thursday, May 21st. I felt better right after it happened, although the incision here on my left shoulder was sore and remains sore. But it's healing now nicely, and I immediately was like back to normal condition, except for this wound that's now healing. It still feels kind of surreal that this happened. They still don't know what caused this. Although when I went in for the follow-up visit with my cardiologist, like a week after the initial surgery, he said that when I implanted the device, they put it at 100%, and after doing tests a week later, they dialed it down to 50%, which means 50% of the natural electrical impulses were getting through again. And he couldn't explain why it had been a complete blockage and then it immediately reversed itself a week later to be only 50% blockage. Which goes back to what I started off by saying, I thought I had a virus. He thinks, he can't say what caused it. They're testing me for Lyme disease, which could be a possibility. Or he said it could just be genetic and it would have happened anyway. Although if it was genetic, it probably wouldn't have come back as quickly. I don't know how I got Lyme disease because I haven't been on the East Coast. I haven't really been out in the woods. We took, a very short hike through a trail, a pretty well-developed trail in Oregon on the coast. That was all of about 15 minutes. I don't see how I could have gotten a tick there. I never saw a tick on me, never had that telltale circular rash. But nonetheless, they're testing my blood for Lyme, and I think that the results should be back soon, but I still haven't heard. Or, there's an outside chance it was a virus, and that's kind of what my gut is this was, since I had those other symptoms, and this would come and go, and then within a week, it seems to have repaired itself, partly. So who knows? Medical establishment still doesn't know why this happened, but it did, and I'm still here, so I guess that's good. But it kind of goes to explain why I've been telling people the Apple Watch, in all likelihood, saved my life. Because if I hadn't been looking at the heart rate over the several days, if I hadn't shown it to my doctor, I don't know how long it would have taken them to figure this out. Because, as I said, I didn't have any other symptoms that would relate to this slow heart rate. And my doctor didn't decide to do the EKG until she saw the heart rate on this thing. So when people say, what good is the Apple Watch, which a lot of the reviewers are asking, it saved my life. That's probably incredibly hokey, but kind of sums up what's been going on with me for the past 2.5 weeks, and getting back to normal. So we will resume with the regular videos. In fact, I've been recording over the past week, so I'll have that up in the next few days. If you have an Apple Watch, wear it. Check your heart rate. If you don't have one, maybe you should.